Good day everyone! Today I'll be discussing the Unit 4 which is the Teacher as Professional, specifically the professionalization of teaching. There are different basic laws on the professionalization of teaching. Number 1 is the Decree Professionalization Teaching or the Presidential Decree 1006. Number 2 is the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act or the RA 7836. And number 3 is the amendments to certain section of RA 7836 or the RA 9293. We will tackle first the Decree Professionalization Teaching or the Presidential Decree number 1006. Providing for the professionalization of teachers, regulating their practice in the Philippines, and for other purposes. Whereas the Constitution provides that all education institutions shall be under the supervision of and subject to regulation by the state. Isa-isahin natin ang iba't ibang section sa law na ito. Unahin natin sa Section 1. Section 1. The title of this law is Decree Professionalizing Teaching. Section 2. Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared a policy that teacher education shall be primary concern and attention by the government, and shall be the highest quality and strongly oriented to the Philippine condition and to the needs and aspiration of the Filipino people, even as it seeks enrichment from the adaptable ideas and practices for other people. In Section 3, the definition of terms. When we say teaching, it refers to the profession primarily concerned with the classroom instruction, while teacher refers to all person engaged in teaching at the elementary and secondary. And board refers to the National Board for Teachers duly constituted under this decree. The Section 4, Creation of the National Board for Teachers. Number 1 is the Secretary of Education and Culture. Number 2, Chairman, Civil Service Commission. Number 3, Commissioner, Professional Regulation Commission. And number 4, 2 members representing the private sector to be appointed by the President. Section 5, Power and Duties. Section 6, Qualification Requirements for Examination Applicants. One of the qualification requirements are the applicant must be a citizen of the Philippines, that he is free from any physical or mental defect, and many more. Section 7, Appointment of Examiner. The board shall appoint a set of examiners for every examination who are organized authority in teacher education, and their names shall not be dissolved until after the release of results of the examination. The Section 8, Scope of the examination. The examination shall consist of written tests, the scope of which shall be determined by the board, taking into consideration the teaching plan of the school legally constituted in the Philippines. Section 9, Ratings in the examination. In order that a candidate may be deemed to have successfully passed the examination, he must have obtained a general average of at least 70% in all subjects with no rating below 50% in any subject. Section 10, Report of the result of examination. The examiners shall report the ratings obtained by each candidate to the board within 150 days after the last day of the examination, unless extended by the latter. Hindi gaya ng mga iba't ibang profession, ilang araw lang nandun na yung result. Sa teacher, maghihintay pa tayo ng ilang days, 150 days para malaman natin kung nakapasa ba tayo or hindi. Section 11, Issuance of Certificate. Teachers who have passed examination given by the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture shall be considered as having passed the board examination for teachers. Ito na yung pinakahihintay ng mga nag-take ng exams. Section 12, the registration. The Civil Service Commission shall, as an arm of the board, register holders of professional teacher certificate which registration shall evidence that the registrant is entitled to all rights and privileges of a professional teacher until and unless the certificate is suspended or cancelled by the board for a just cause. Ito na yung pinakahihintay natin na magpa-register after natin makapasa sa isang examination. Section 13, reissuance of revoked certificates and replacement of lost certificates. The board may, for reason and equity and justice, and upon proper application therefore, issue another copy, original or duplicate, upon payment of the required fee of certificate which has been revoked. Section 14, registration by reciprocity. The Civil Service Commission shall, upon approval of the board, effect the registration without examination of a teacher validly registered under the law of any foreign state or country provided. Section 15, the prohibition. 3 years after the effectivity of this decree, no person shall engage in teaching and or act as defined in decree, whether in the public or private elementary or secondary school, unless he is holder of a professional teacher certificate or is considered a professional teacher under this decree. 16. Penal provision. A fine of not less than 1,000 pesos nor more than 5,000 pesos with subsidiary imprisonment, or to suffer an imprisonment of not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years, or but such fine and imprisonment at the discretion of the court. Section 17. Repealing clause. All acts, decree, executive orders, administrative orders, rules and regulation or parts thereof inconsistent with the provision of this decree, and hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 18. Separability clause. In case any provision of this decree or any portion thereof is declared unconstitutional by a competent court, other provisions shall not be affected thereby. And lastly, the Section 19, the effectivity. This decree shall take effect January 1, 1997, done in the city of Manila, this 22 day of September in the year of our Lord, 1976. At iyon ang mga iba't ibang section na kailangan pagdaanan ng isang ganap na guro. Ang pagiging guro hindi lang sa nakapag-graduate ka ng 4-year course, bagkus madami ka pang mapapagdaanan, kaya huwag nating ilalang ang pagiging guro. Next, we will tackle the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act, or the Republic Act 7836. An act to strengthen the regulation and supervision of the practice of teaching in the Philippines and prescribing a licensure examination for teachers and for other purposes. Section 1, the short title, which is the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. The Section 2, Statement of Policy. The state recognized the vital role of teachers in nation building and development through a responsible and literate citizenry. Section 3, the objectives. Letter A, the promotion, development, and professionalization of teachers and the teaching profession. Letter B, the supervision and regulation of the licensure examination. Section 4, definition of terms. Nasabi ko kanina kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng teaching, teachers, board, at ang ibig sabihin naman ng commission. Commission refers to the Professional Regulation Commission. Section 5, creation and composition of board. 5 members to be appointed by the President of the Philippines. Section 6, duties and functions of the board. One of the most important duties of the board is prescribe and or adopt a code of ethical and professional standard for the practice of the teaching profession. Section 7, term of office. The members of the board shall hold office for a term of 3 years from the date they assume office. No person who has served for 2 consecutive terms shall be eligible for reappointment. The chairman or any member shall take his oath of office prior to the performance of his Duties. Section 8, Qualification of Board Members. Number 1, be a citizen and resident of the Philippines. Number 2, be at least 35 years of age, of proven integrity, and possess of high moral values. Number 3, be a holder of the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in Education, preferably a holder of a master's or doctorate degree in education or the equivalents. Section 9, Compensation of the Board. Section 10, Supervision of the Board and Custodian of Records. The Board shall be under the supervision and control of Commission. Section 11, Secretariat and Support Services. Section 12, Removal of Board Member. Did you get my point? Ayun po yung mga iba't ibang section sa Republic Act 7836. Dumako naman tayo sa amendments to certain sections of RA 7836 or the RA 9293. An act amending certain section of Republic Act numbered 7836, otherwise known as the Philippine Teachers Professionalization of Act 1994. The Section 1, Section 15 of RA 7836 is hereby amended as follows. Possess the minimum educational requirements. Letter A, preschool, bachelor's degree in early childhood education. Letter B, elementary, bachelor's degree in elementary education or the BEd. Letter C, secondary, bachelor's degree in education with a major or minor or a bachelor's degree in arts and science with at least 18 units in professional education. Letter D, vocational or the 2-year technical courses. Bachelor degree in the field of specialization with at least 18 units in professional education. In Section 2, Section 26 of the same Act is hereby amended as follows. Letter A, a holder of a certificate of eligibility as a teacher issued by the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports. Letter B, a registered professional teacher with the National Board of Teachers under the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports or the DECS pursuant of Presidential Decree number 1006.